Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you the seasonal distress inks from Tim Holtz. The 2011 seasonal inks are Ice Spruce, Evergreen Bough, and Festive Berries. So we're going to jump right in here. I'm going to be doing some inking techniques that probably would be best on a craft sheet, but since I'm not using my craft sheet today, I'm going to put down some white cardstock so I can see what I'm doing. Then I'm just putting a slick surface on top, and the surface I'm using is actually a page protector from a scrapbook that I haven't used, and it's a blank one, so I thought I might as well try it this way. Okay, I have some watercolor paper. It's cut to 2 3/8 wide by, I think it's just over 4. It's 4.5 tall, and I'm not actually going to need it this tall in the end, but I'm doing that so that if I don't get the ink all the way to the end, that it's okay. So I'm going to start with some Ice Spruce ink, and I'm just going to apply it straight to the slick surface. Trying to get that really on there really good. Alright, and I'm going to take Evergreen Bough, really smush that on there, and I'm actually going to overlap the two a little bit, and it's definitely okay to do that if you do the Ice Spruce first, because the Evergreen Bough is such a darker color that it won't, it will overpower the Ice Spruce, so it's not going to cause any problems on your ink pad. Now I have a mini mister, just filled with some water, and I'm going to spray this multiple times until I get some big droplets of water. Oh, and I'm out of water. Okay. Want some big droplets of water. Definitely have a big one over there. So now I'm going to take my watercolor paper, and the side I want to use is the one that has more texture. The other side is more smooth. So I'm going to see the texture side and turn it over. And this is why I want it a little bit longer, because it's not going to reach across the whole thing. So I'll just press that down. I'm actually going to like wiggle it just a little bit. So I really want those colors to mix in the center. Okay. Lift that up. Get a nice gradient effect. Give me some of that water. And I'm going to set this aside to dry for a little bit. If you want, you can hit it with a heat tool to make it dry quicker, but I'm just going to let it dry in, by itself in the air. Okay, now that it's pretty much dry, I'm going to just kind of bounce it in the leftover ink that's here. So I'll just do a little bounce. I'm just going to add some little splotches. A little bounce. And it's going to look really cool after it dries. So I'll set that aside to dry again. Okay, to clean up the surface, I'm just using a cloth. This is actually a dried up baby wipe. I like to clean my stamps with baby wipes, so this is one that has just dried out. Okay, now we're going to do some embossing with this distress ink. I'm going to use white embossing powder, so it will kind of cover up the color, but because it's a distress ink, it'll still stay pretty wet, but some of the areas will be dry, so it'll have a really cool effect on the embossing. Using this ink the stamp from here, it's called Scallop Circle. We're going to put it down here at the bottom. So I'll start with my Evergreen Bough ink. That inked up really well. You want to make sure it looks really wet. Okay, and then I'm just going to get that centered on the bottom area. Alright, and before it has too much time to dry, I'm going to go ahead and add the white embossing powder. It might stick to other areas, but that's totally okay because it will help with the distressed look. Okay, so we have that right there. Okay, for the sentiment on the card, I'm going to be stamping a little stamp from this Inkadinkado stamp set. This is the Folk Holiday Tag Expression stamp set. And I'm going to be doing this one right here that says Peace. Mount it on my Fiskars stamp press. And I'm going to use some Versamark ink. I'm going to be embossing this one as well. Just using some more white embossing powder. Now I'm going to take the Festive Berries color and I'm going to do direct to paper and just fill in all the areas around this piece. It's almost like giving yourself some red cardstock around the sentiment. Okay, now I'm just going to cut this out so it's a little tiny strip. I'm going to have more space over on this side because I'm going to cut a little V shape. Okay, the way I do a V shape is I come off to the side a little bit and then I kind of envision a little center area and then I'll cut from each corner to that center area. Now I'll glue this down with some dimensional adhesive. Okay, this is the card base it's going to go on. I'm going to put down some pattern paper, but I need to make sure that it's the right size. So I'll take a pencil and I'm just going to mark up here at the top where it needs to be cut off, and then I'll put that through my paper trimmer. I'm going to be using some pattern paper for the background of the card. I'm using a pattern from My Mind's Eye's Lost and Found Christmas 6x6 pad. And I'm adhering it with a Xyron Mega Runner. Before I do that, I'm going to go around the edges and do a little bit of distressing. And I think I'm going to use the iced spruce to go around the edges. I'm going to use my makeshift craft sheet again. And an ink blending tool. Just go around those edges really fast. Alright, now I'm going to adhere that straight to the card. It is slightly smaller than the card front. Okay, just like that. And now I'm going to take this little piece. I'm going to round the bottom corners with the smaller corner chomper. I'm going to use the 1/8 inch side. And I'm going to do 2 dashed lines right at the bottom with a white gel pen. And now I'll just put this straight on the card like that with some dimensional adhesive. Okay, and there's the card using the seasonal distress inks from Tim Holtz. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will hit you on Thursday for another idea on how to use distress ink. See you then.